This is Matthew Brownstein, founder of the Institute of Interpersonal Hypnotherapy and OnlineMonastery.com. We're actually here talking today about OnlineMonastery.com and the meditation system found there called the Anahat meditation system. This is a brief introduction to that system, ideally only about 10 minutes, to help you to get started. If you like what you're hearing, then there's over 60 hours of recorded material that you can practice at home, and then eventually there's a certified meditation teacher training that goes with it. So start with this video, start meditating, and then each video, for instance the introduction itself, is 2.5 hours long. Each other training video is a good 3 to 4 hours. So this is just an intro. You're sitting in one of our meditation spaces, and up here you'll see stained glass given to me by one of my dear students of Anahat chakra. So that is the symbol of our system, and the word Anahat relates to your heart chakra. The word itself actually refers to that which is beyond vibration, a bell before you ring the bell, a state of pure potentiality. However, that goes very deep, yet I do encourage you to go into those deeper teachings. You can find that in my books, The Sacred Geometry of Meditation, and the book, The Anahat Meditation System. You'll see in the glyph of the 6-pointed star a descending triangle and an ascending triangle. To begin Anahat meditation, we are descending. That means we're coming into the body. We're being fully present right here now. We're grounded. We're centered, we're here, and we're clear. When we ascend, we're essentially kind of leaving the body. We're going up into the higher chakras, up into higher consciousness. There's a place for both, yet we're beginning with descending. Don't feel that that's kind of mundane and boring, because this is an extremely deep meditation system. You just have to begin somewhere. And when you end a practice, it's good to be able to descend again. So if you're leaving your body, you're having cosmic consciousness experiences, you're having very high mystical experiences, those of you who have a Kundalini awakenings, you're going to want to know how to ground your energy to be fully here now. Don't be intimidated by a full lotus pose. It's one of 5 acceptable positions, and you don't have to do that. I'm sitting in what's called a zabuton and a zafu. You find this from the Zen tradition. And while I've been very active in Zen meditation and yogic meditation, it's actually really the Zen practitioners who have figured out a very refined way to sit. I watch a lot of people doing yogic practice, and they just don't have their body positioned in a way that's conducive for hours of meditation. So this is a very solid foundation they've been doing for thousands of years. The main theme is to have your knees on the ground. So this is a zafu, and I'd recommend going to dharmacrafts.com. They sell very good quality products. I don't think this is the Dharma Crafts one, but all good. This is filled with buckwheat, and that's what I prefer. And here's kind of squishy in there with buckwheat husk. And then the other ones you usually get are kapok. It's a thick, batted cotton. I prefer buckwheat. It's about 6 or so inches high, and it keeps your sitting bones off the ground. Without this, you just have a lot of trouble sitting for long periods of time. The idea of Anahat meditation is rooted in sacred geometry. So sitting in this pose gives us a pyramid shape. It's a very solid base. So sitting bones are up, knees are down. Now if this position is just too much for you, and you really have to do yoga and stretch to be able to sustain this. If that doesn't work, half lotus is where one foot is in the opposite thigh. These positions, depending on how long you sit, might last, full lotus, maybe 10 minutes. If you get good enough, eventually you can do an hour. But generally this leg here on the top will fall asleep for me after about a half hour. I can push through longer, but after about a half hour, I'll simply switch legs and then most likely get another half hour in without putting too much emphasis on one leg. It's good to keep both legs engaged in the practice, so you're not always catering to one. One's end up very flexible, the other doesn't get any flexibility at all. So this is half lotus. We also have what's called the Burmese position, or quarter lotus, where one foot is simply in front of the other. Again, when your feet fall asleep, just consider switching. The 4th position is called seiza. It's where we actually straddle the cushion. So you move this to the middle. And same idea. Knees are down, shins are down here, and the spine gets to remain straight. You want a slight curve in your low back, the natural curve of your spine, but you don't want to be sitting too straight and too rigid. It should be a generally relaxed posture. If these 4 positions just don't work for you, you can sit on a straight back chair, and you can even put your zafu on top of the chair, and then sit on the zafu. Have both feet on the ground, have your spine straight, and don't lean back in the chair. Okay, so let's go back to quarter lotus, or actually I prefer half lotus. So that's your foundation. Your hands can go what's called Maha Mudra, meaning the great hand symbol. It connects the meridians of both arms, and it's very powerful for gathering your attention to the present moment. The more dominant hand is usually said to be in the bottom, but it really doesn't matter. So if you're right-handed, you might put the right hand on the bottom, or the theory is the right side is usually more yang, the left side is more yin, and here yin embraces yang, but doesn't really matter so much. With the right hand on the bottom, in this case, the second set of knuckles are aligned. So if you fold here, that's the second set. Have those aligned. Form a very gentle oval with your hands. My first Zen teacher, he said, imagine as if you're holding a piece of rice paper between your fingers. Don't let the paper drop. If you're too tight, you crunch the paper. If you're too loose, the paper falls. So this works as a good mindfulness gauge. If your fingers come apart, then you're probably not present. If you're tensing and you feel your hands are tense, you're just too tense. So relax. Keep your shoulders soft. You keep this kind of rounded. Imagine you're holding like an egg under both armpits. But again, work to keep everything relaxed. Your hands in half lotus can simply rest on the foot. Same thing in full lotus. You can generally keep the hand right there. In quarter lotus, the hands can pretty much, you have your arms resting in your thighs. Your breathing should be originating from your diaphragm. So as you inhale, feel the diaphragm muscle pull down, and that's an active tensing of that muscle. As you exhale, simply relax that muscle so it floats up. Inhale, diaphragm goes down, below, almost as if it goes below your navel. But you're going to keep your attention below your navel. It's a space, if you're to put your thumb right in your belly button there, it's a space about 2 inches below the navel, but this whole region. In Japanese, it's called your hara. In Chinese, it's called your tantian. And in yogic practice, we simply refer to that region as the second chakra. In Anahat, we have 3 major centers we focus on. Below the navel, the heart itself, which is Anahat chakra, and then the third eye region. So we have descending, ascending, and heart-centered. We're starting here with meditation 1, a very brief introduction to it, descending. So the energy is below the navel. Inhale, keep the awareness below the navel. Exhale, keep your awareness there. That power that you develop by staying present and breathing becomes a concentrated force that moves you through the rest of the system. So this might seem very basic, but very powerful meditation is very basic because it should be simple. You're not trying to accomplish anything when you're doing this. You're just sitting here breathing. But what happens when you're just here breathing? Life gets to be life. You get to be real. You get to be you. You don't have some goal. The goal is actually this present moment. Now that's hard to do for even advanced practitioners just to sit. So we add some breathing and counting. When you inhale, count 1. When you exhale, count 2. Right? It's really easy. See how long you can do it. Inhale, 3. Exhale, 4. You're going to count from 1 to 10. Count every inhalation when you're starting your practice. Inhale 1. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 4. Count to 10. When you get to 10, start again at 1. If your mind wanders, Just come back to the breathing and counting. No judgment, none of that. I'm not doing this well. If you sit, you're doing well. As long as you get on the cushion, you're doing well. If you practice, you're doing well. You're not supposed to have no mind. Your mind will wander. You come back. It's like driving a car. Get too far to the left, come back to the middle. Get too far to the right, come back to the middle. So your steering wheel is a bit loose. It's hard to stay centered, but that's the practice. Now, if you find you've counted past 10, you're up to 20 and you didn't realize it, you're not mindfully counting, just start again at 1. If you don't make it to 10 because your mind wandered, start again at 1. That's it. It's really that simple. Don't try to stop your mind. Just sit and breathe and count. Other subtleties in the practice. Keep the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So if you roll your tongue back and find the soft palate, then roll forward to the hard palate, then rest your tongue right in that ridge above your teeth where you feel that bony protuberance there. Just keep your tongue right in that place. That keeps you from excessively salivating. It also works like your fingers in Maha Mudra. If the fingers come apart, you probably lost mindfulness. If your tongue falls from the roof of your mouth, or you're grinding your teeth, you probably are too tense or have lost mindfulness or both. So keep the tongue gently in the roof of the mouth. Now, what about the eyes and the chin? The chin should be down a little bit when we're doing descending meditation, down into the body. When we're ascending, chin might be level with the ground. Not up, but just level with the ground. But Anahat meditation begins with descending, so chin slightly tucked in. Hands in Maha Mudra, and let the eyes actually remain open while you're starting this meditation practice. People like to close their eyes and go within, but just trust me, for the basics of this practice, sit with eyes open. We're looking down about 2 to 3 feet in front of us, so the eyes might look somewhat closed. But they're actually open, just gently looking down. You're not staring at any one spot. Have a diffuse kind of peripheral gaze. So you're not actually looking. You're engaging your practice of breathing and counting. If you find you're looking around, you're actually just thinking. If you close your eyes and kind of drift off, you're kind of daydreaming. The idea here is to stay very present to the moment. If you just do this practice, which is very much what we find in Zen, or what's called Zazen, the benefits come from just doing the practice, but you don't necessarily know what those benefits are, so just do the practice and watch what happens. And this is something that takes years. So we just do this for years. We do this for our life. It becomes part of our life. When should you meditate? Every morning and every evening. 5 minutes minimum. That's how to get started. Just get on the cushion, however you position your body, whatever works for you, but force yourself to do it every morning for 5 minutes minimum, and then 5 minutes every evening minimum. It'll start feeling so good over time, and as you learn more about Anahat meditation, you'll really enjoy your practice. You'll go longer just because you want to. So sitting for an hour, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours plus per day will happen because you want to, but you have to develop the discipline to get started. They say it takes more fuel for a rocket ship to get out of the Earth's atmosphere than to go around the moon and back. So if you're just starting meditation, especially a disciplined practice like this, be patient and gentle with yourself. Even if you're so tired and you can't do 5 minutes, get on the cushion, bow in, we can talk about for a moment, take 1 breath, and then fine, go to bed. Bow out and go to bed. But you took a breath. Tomorrow, take 2 breaths. And the idea is, can you just sit here? Now, is there more to the system? Absolutely. But really, where we begin, right here now, is essentially where we, quote, end. Meaning, it's always now. Your meditation is always about now. Simple practice is very powerful because now is very simple. And now is very powerful when you're right here. Okay, so a quick review. Find your body posture. Have your sitting bones up. Definitely for Anahat meditation, have your knees down to the best of your ability. If you need to use a pillow to support your knee, it's fine, but get some yoga in. Work to get those knees down. Breathe below your navel. Diaphragm pulls down. Diaphragm floats back up. Gentle curve in the low back, so we're not slouching. We're sitting upright, we're relaxed. Hands go to Maha Mudra, resting in the lap. nice and round, and keep the arms out a little bit. Again, remember that egg kind of feeling. You're going to crunch that egg in your armpits. Chin slightly tucked in, tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Eyes open, and with a peripheral gaze focused down about 2 to 3 feet in front of you. Or if you're sitting not too far from a wall, you kind of look at the corner where the floor and the wall meet. But again, that's not the object of fixation. We're not looking at anything. So remember, if you're looking around using your eyes, you're actually just busy thinking. If you go back to your practice, eventually you'll forget that you have eyes in a sense. In more advanced practice, body and mind drop away from your awareness. You're not even aware there is a body and mind at some point. So don't worry that the eyes are open. It's not going to be stressful or have strain over time. In the morning in Anahat meditation, we descend. We come into our body. In the evening, we can still descend, but quite often we can ascend. We can go up into spirit, up into higher consciousness. Those of you who have had really profound mystical experiences, cosmic conscious, out-of-body stuff, kundalini awakening, you might be very ungrounded, and it's not hard to go up. So coming down actually can be challenging for anybody, but we want to be able to do both. So the motto in Anahat is fully grounded, so it's fully descended, fully grounded, fully open to spirit, fully ascended, and with a fully open heart. Remember, Anahat meditation, the word Anahat refers to the heart center, and really the heart of your heart, which is the very essence of your being. It's a very deep system, and again, it starts really basic, and then it goes from there. Because it's rooted in sacred geometry, we're getting into really powerful energetic glyphs that align with the body, the meridians of the body, the chakras. The benefits of this are tremendous. Yet this is just a brief video to get you started. Please go and watch, if you're interested, the 2.5-hour introduction to the system found on onlinemonastery.com. And I hope to blow your mind with how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Again, you can check out my book, The Sacred Geometry Meditation. That's a textbook on the topic. And then the Anahat meditation system is a novel in a fictitious monastery where the lead character learns this meditation system. It's going to take a good year or two to learn and practice the whole system, and then it's pretty much yours for life. Again, there's a certified teacher training program with this, so after you've done a good 100 hours, the videos and a lot of practice, and a good year or two, you can apply to be a certified teacher. You can reach out to me or a certified teacher, and we're happy to guide you. These teachings remain free at onlinemonastery.com because it's not about the money, it's about enlightening humanity. So I hope that motivated you to get on the cushion. We're here if we can answer any questions for you. And when you're done with your practice, you can simply bow out. I made a few videos today, so in case I didn't say that in this video, when you bow in, you're acknowledging the sacredness of the practice in this moment. When you bow out, you're essentially saying, okay, my formal sitting practice is done. Now I'm going to take what I cultivated on the cushion and live my life from that space, right? So if you're more peaceful, more centered, more compassionate, more loving, more kind, then we bow out, and then we live from that space. So thank you.